Boys and girls. Well, let's be honest, probably boys. This is probably the type of nerdy topic that, I've been to the watch meets and I know who frequents them. These are boys, and by boys I mean 65-year-old guys with a vintage Yugo or Peugeot that they think is their pride and joy and cool. I guess in this case it would be a BMW if you're lucky. Maybe 2002, something interesting and weird. But without further ado, I'll talk about these Omega Speedmasters, specifically the German model or the German market model. Legend has it, or at least the historical data and files will presume that these watches were released only to the German market, being Germany and Switzerland. But you see them oftentimes with Spanish date wheels, and so it's understood that they were probably sold in South America. There's a huge South American marketing campaign in the 80s by Omega, and they sold a lot of watches. Anyhow, and I'd like to go through the John Maddox website here and sort of talk about what the deal is with these, and I'll just kind of start scrolling through. The one that I've shown you on the desk here is the reference number 1450040. It's the typical sort of professional dial. It has an 861 movement, no date, obviously, and it is an interesting watch, which sort of sparked my interest in this group of watches. And my interest was reignited when a buddy I work with came to work, shout out Andre, with a Vacheron Constantin overseas, steel with complications that we didn't have time to talk about. Beautiful watch, Genta design, and that's what brings me here to this, because I think the integrated case and the kind of strange, futuristic looking case design, certainly very 80s futuristic modern case design, is similar. It's got an integrated bracelet, and it's in my opinion similar to those three coveted watches: the Nautilus, Royal Oak, and the Overseas. That's my opinion, but we will go through and sort of talk about the different variants. Now, so the one here is that 861. We'll scroll on down and see what he has to say. He goes on to talk about how the back of the case is marked with the model type, and you can see it. I wear this watch a lot, and you can barely see it, but it says 861. The model of the movement, the caliber of the movement. It's 861, and so I'm going to go ahead and give this a try and wind it. And get it started here. And let's start the chronograph and demonstrate it. The 861 has a very typical sort of softer but very confident, inspiring. It's a engagement of the seconds totalizer, the chronograph start button, and the stop and reset button are also satisfying. However, like I said, a little soft, and that goes on throughout the different models that the 861 was incorporated into, whether it's different Speedmasters or Speedmaster Mark II, obviously the professional, and others. Flightmaster had a variant of the 861 with other gears attached to it. Scrolling on down, you can see the 1045 on the back of one of these. Now, the 1045 is another Lamania movement, obviously, and it's a cool movement because it has a central minute totalizer. It's an automatic movement. This isn't the name of the watch. It's not called a 1045. It's actually considered to be the Mark V, whereas the one on the left is the German market or Teutonic, which means Germanic or German in nature or background. So you can see the case number there. They're all marked with a Seamaster logo on the back. Pardon while I balance the phone and wind this movement. Different winding experience, higher beat movement, and let's describe how the Mark V engages. I press the start button. Much more solid, a little bit higher pressure required to start, but a solid feeling engagement. And as you can see, haven't worn this watch in a while and had to give it a twist to get that balance wheel moving. Scrolling down here, let's see what he talks about here. So he talks about the differences. I've read this article in ad nauseam multiple times, and it talks about the thickness of the case. The Mark V with the 1045 movement is thicker than the Teutonic. I'm sure it explains on here, but semantics. You can go on the website, chronomatics.com, and look at this. Talks about and you can tell the obvious difference with the step off for the lugs, integrated bracelet, so wide lug, integrated lug and bracelet design. And let's see, this is a cool one, gray dial. They also made, interestingly, they made a 861 with a moon face and titanium case. And they also made one with, I believe, titanium and gold as well, gold center links that were actually pure gold rather than like capped, and titanium moon face. These trade for around $10,000. I don't have one. I love the central minute totalizer. Makes it very easy to read. And that's why I like these 1045 movements in any watch, whether it's Sin, Omegas, or Porsche design. I've got I have a Porsche design chronograph, 1040 or the Lamania movement, and I have two of these Mark V's for no other reason, but I just like the condition of one of them, and the other one is wearable. I mean, I can wear it and feel comfortable and not so, I don't know, neurotic, even though it's not that expensive of a watch. It's just, they're hard to find. So if I see a good one or a used one, I buy it. If it's appropriately priced, I'll buy it. And that's it. That's it. And that's why this happened. I saw this for sale, and I was like, you know what? I might as well start working on this collection. Someone's got to be passed the torch from John Maddox, and I mean, I love these weird watches. This is another Teutonic, 861. However, with the gold tachometer and gold center link. Again, these are capped gold, and these watches were released in the 80s, early 80s, 1982, 83, and they're great, I think, because the size is very modern. They're 43 millimeters, not including the crown. And they wear like a modern sports watch, is a key phrase. And so the reason I wanted to make this video is because I was sitting at my desk And I've been looking at this for the last day because I just came in the mail. And I bought the gold dial with white chronograph, second, minute, and running seconds, minute, and hour totalizers or sub dials. And that's just about completed the collection. Then what'll I do? Well, of course, I'll find another weird watch and work on that as far as buying more. This is a cool looking watch. This I think is my favorite as far as cool looking. This is my favorite as far as just overall just looks great. And I really like the way the gray one looks. They don't come up for sale very often. So let's see what it looks like on the wrist. Okay. Beg your pardon for the spasticity of my camera handling skills, but I suck at it. And this is what it looks like. I've got large wrists, and you know what? Let's look at it side by side to a familiar watch. I guess we can do kind of a interesting comparison here. I'll wear it next to a familiar Omega. I put that one on correctly. And yeah, I'm gonna set you down for a second, but listen, I'm not leaving you. I'm setting the phone down, and camera magic is happening, and I'm not gonna edit this video. I make so few of these videos that I'm just gonna go ahead and release this, boom, without editing. So hold still now. Easy with the movements. Easy with the movement of your wrists. So you've got a Speedmaster Professional right next to the Teutonic, and that's the size comparison. You can see that the bezel of the Professional makes the watch appear larger, and the Teutonic's very sleek. The edges are soft, so it slides under the cuff easily. You know what? Let's add one more just for the heck of it. Boom! What is that? A Rolex day date? No. I got into this weird obsession of looking for these interesting Bulova 333 oceanographers, I believe they're called. And 333 feet of water resistance, which with a plastic crystal, I wouldn't even take these in the water. But at the time, they were fantastic, I bet. But anyhow, they're 36 millimeters, so you can see the size of these watches compared to your standard 36 millimeter date ripoff. The Bulova was released in the 60s, and it's kind of a cool watch. It's got a great movement. I've fixed a lot of them just because I would buy them broken and fix them. It's kind of a cool issue with the sport secondhand. That's Cyclops on the date. This has some patina or tropicalization of the dial, and it's all silver. You usually find them in this typical silver and gold, but alas, this is what they look like. This is what these Speedmasters look like, and this is what you came for the video. This is what you came for. So thanks very much. I've got tons of other watches if you're interested in anything. This is it. These are just some that I set aside, or I just have on my desk for no reason. If you're interested in hearing about a watch and my take, then keep it to yourself, because I am not good at responding or obliging. No, I'll try to make a video. And cheers. Have a good night. Thanks.